The government reopened and still no CFTC commitment of traders data. But hopefully we will get that at the end of the day today, if not early next week. So we'll take a look at things and see where we are on this Friday. Hello, everybody. Futures Brizio here, 12:15 p.m. on Friday, November 14th. Hope everybody's having a great week. Relatively quiet today, kind of typical Friday volume, not a lot going on, although we did just have some bearish movement for some reason in the grain markets. I don't know if some news came out. I haven't had time to really look. But we'll take a quick look at that and see where we're at. But outside of that, it's been pretty quiet. Again, kind of typical Friday volume. So as I mentioned, and anybody here in the U.S., and even if you're not, you probably heard the U.S. government did reopen and the shutdown ended, I guess officially yesterday or the day before. So we do expect to see commitment of traders data to start flowing again. Now, normally the report comes out Friday afternoon, 3-ish o'clock, between 3 o'clock and the end of the business day. So we'll see. Now, again, like I said in previous videos, I don't know if there's going to be a backlog because obviously, yes, they reopen, but I'm sure there's a prioritization in, what they work on first at these agencies. So I don't know where all that fits in, so we'll have to see. The other question I have is, are they just going to skip over the missed weeks for the last, 5 or 6 missed weeks? And then just go, so you basically be flatline for, from September 23rd, which was the last report, until today or whenever they start coming out again. Or are they going to go and backfill those previous weeks so you can kind of look at it on the charts, on the CFTC graphs, when you plot it out on the chart, or even in the table form. So I don't know the answer to that, whether, like I said, they're going to fill in the or if they're just going to flatline all those, missed weeks and just start up again. So we'll have to see. But if we look at this is the official government website, the CFTC, and I'm under, commitment of traders here. As you can see, it still says September 23rd here. So that is the most recent report. And they still have this message up here about the shutdown. So they obviously have not updated this website yet. And so we'll just have to, see what happens after today. So hopefully beginning of next week, we'll have an update on this. But as of right now, it is still only showing the last run, which was, again, September 23rd. So, we're 4, 5, 6, 7, or almost like 7 weeks out here since our last update. So it'll be interesting to see. So we really still can't go by that because we don't have it. And I just wanted to point that out there, that once it comes back, I will take a look. And it'll be at least helpful for me personally, since I like to use that data just to kind of see where things are at and kind of reset, especially in these agricultural commodity markets. So that are, tend to follow that pretty closely. Again, we still do have seasonal data. That doesn't change. But I would like to pair that again with the COT data. All right, so we'll just go back to the charts here. We're going to probably just stick mostly to trading view here. So we'll start with hogs. So as I said yesterday, I had this rectangle drawing here. No magic about drawing rectangles on your charts, but just to point out, this area that prices come into has been an area it's bounced from before. Last time was back in mid-July of this year, and then the previous before that was back at the end of May. So a couple of times in the last 6 months or so, it has bounced off this area. And so we'll see. And you can see, of course, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? It's not like I'm the only one that sees these levels. So does the whole rest of the market. But you can see price came right to the bottom of this range. And then we had this blue bullish candle today that set up. This is the 12-hour chart, and we'll drill down a little bit here. And look, here's the 4-hour. You can see it, bottomed out, tried to go higher. 1 hour chart, you can see there was a push, back out of the zone, and then it just kind of petered out. So, I obviously this bounce right here is, profit takers, anyone that was short, probably exiting positions right here. And also, people that are trying to pick the bottom, buying in right here. So, I wasn't in anything, and I'm certainly not going to try to pick a bottom here because there's no guarantee this won't just smash right through this zone. There obviously are more lows below here, but this is kind of a critical area because it is an area that's been clearly held before in the this year. So we'll see if it holds again or not. If we do end up getting a definitive break below this box, like on a higher time frame, again, I don't like short time frame breakthroughs. I like 1 hour minimum to see a 1 hour candle or better close below this zone. Then that would, suggest that prices are not done going down. But in order to see a long positions, I'd want to see, obviously a new high put in, a pullback, and then another new high put in to kind of see it start stair stepping up. But even if it does that, I mean, we still have market structure sitting up above here at this swing high. So whether we get some sort of Fibonacci pullback, and then it rolls over and goes down again, I mean, to me, until we break this area up here and start turning higher and clear some of these recent swings, then anything in here is still just a pullback within a bear market. So it doesn't mean you can't trade it again. I mean, on a short time frame, if you see, higher lows and higher highs being put in, you certainly could trade it until there's a shift, until if and when there's a shift lower. If price gets all the way back up to this area, of course, as usual, it'll just kind of chop around because everybody sees this level. And you'll just have to see if it's very like choppy price action. That's in small wicks, small candles, big wicks. That usually means it's going to break through the level and go higher because the sellers are not able to really pick up the momentum to roll it back down. So I think the closer it gets to this level, the more chance it's going to break to go higher. But we'll have to see. Right now, like I said, we did have this one big push off here. There hasn't really been any follow through. But then again, it's not going lower either. So does this turn out to be like a higher low right here, and then eventually we punch back up here and start going higher? I don't know. But, so I'm kind of neutral on hogs right now just based on this. I think, overall you still have to consider this a bear market, but just looking at where it's sitting right now in terms of the level on the chart, you have to be a little bit cautious about trying to short this right now. So, but then again, I don't like to pick bottoms or tops either. I want the market to come. And if this is going to roll over and start going higher, it's got plenty of time to do that. This isn't, even though this is pretty far away, this is only a 1 hour chart. I mean, it would take, just eyeballing this with bullish price action, that would probably take about maybe 2 trading sessions to get up to this level. And then, it'll probably chop around, and then, maybe on the third session or something, it'll pop through, if that's what it does. But if we get up here to some sort of fib level, 50, 71, 50, 61, even 78 fib level, and then we, on a shorter time frame, we see structure begin to shift bearish again, then that could be another great place to sell from. So like I said, right now, I'm just neutral on this. Not going to be anything happening today, I can tell you that. It's already afternoon, the market just kind of, especially on a Friday, the volume just really drops off early. So, all right, so we'll keep an eye on that. So this is what I'm talking about with grains here. This is corn. Now, of course, there's a huge wick here, and we are looking at regular candlesticks here, not Heikin-Ashi. So I don't know what the heck this was about. Let's see here. I'm just looking at the little news thing here on TradingView. Corrected, U.S. corn yield projected 186 bushels an acre by USD soybean yield at 53. I'd have to open these stories and look to see. That's all it says. So I don't know if this. I'm assuming this is bearish news just based on the what we see on the chart. But so we must have gotten some USDA news. And, honestly, some of this, I don't know if this is why, if this has come out of the government reopening. So now they're starting to throw all this corn crop yield data out back on the market that they've been holding off because the market government shutdown. So this could be a direct result of that, of what we're seeing. So let's see what happens with this. If there's any follow through on this, or if this is just going to end up being like some gigantic correction here. So soybean meal, I'm sure is going to show the same thing. Yes, not as violent on soybean meal. And, again, we still do have market structure. This is only a 1 hour chart. But I mean, there's market structure sitting here. So this is not, even though this might be some bearish news today, this does not end, to me, this does not end the uptrend. We would have to see, some structure. This is why I still think market structure is king. And clearly this is an important structure level right here. You can see it on with Heikin-Ashi candles. You can't really see it on the 4 hour, but with regular candlesticks, you can see it, and certainly on shorter time frames. So yeah, this is pretty bearish on this news, but whether this turns out to be a long-term reversal or just, a reactive news day, I don't know. Could just end up being a great buying opportunity. Again, won't happen today probably just because of the time, but I expect what will happen now is prices will just kind of drift around within this range here. Probably won't make any real major progress either way. But pretty interesting though. Canadian dollar has done absolutely nothing today. I tried to take a couple of trades on this day, lost on both of them. I was hoping we were going to see a breakout, but nothing here, nothing doing. This is the hourly chart. You can see really since this morning when New York opened, we've had, 4 or 5 hours of just sideways price action. So nothing really doing on Canadian dollar. I think overall this market is probably a little bit bearish just based on recent swings, swing high here, potential swing high here. We did get this nice uptrend up to this level, and then we seem to have broke lower, and then we've just kind of stuck right here. So unless we get some bullish action and start really coming back up through these highs, then I think we'll probably roll over and keep going down. But doesn't want to do it today. It's just not making any progress at all today. Again, this is basically from the open today, and it's done really nothing. So this was a pre-market push, kind of like because this was at 7 o'clock New York time. So this was a pre-market push. I don't know if this was some news or just pre-market buying. I have no idea what caused this big bull candle. It's not even really in line with any news releases because this was so early. So I throw this one out the window entirely. But since then, since the market has been open, you can see no progress at all. So nothing doing in Canadian dollar, but overall still kind of looks bearish. This, again, having COT data would help because we can at least look at COT data for currencies. I don't really look at seasonality, but COT data sometimes can help. So soybeans, I think we already looked at. No, that we looked at corn and soy meal. Again, pushing down, but again, we still have market structure. This is similar to soy meal. We still have important market structure sitting here. You can see prices trying to get down there, but you can see buyers are trying to scoop up bargains right here. And so we'll see. And soybean oil, I actually had this short on right here just before that big spike down. You can see I've given a lot of it back. So while we're talking here, I'm just going to close this anyways. $100, but you can see it's trying to pull back up now. So again, a lot of this, you get these reactive news releases and you get a big spike and then it just kind of dries up. So although soy oil is still kind of the laggard here, I mean, it still looks like it's trying to go down. But overall, even though it's been stair-stepping down here, I mean, on the 4 hour chart, we technically still do have market structure sitting here back at this previous swing low. Um, and so, short term bearish, but, a little bit longer term, I still think that, we could get some upside momentum, but it's really, and I don't like these up down patterns like this. I mean, people draw trend lines on here and play off the trend line, and that's all fine. But to me, I have this line right here. I would want to see a break above here for this to go higher. I'm not interested because if you look at a trend line break, right? So this is what people are going to do here, right? I mean, it's very obvious. Everybody sees this. This is not rocket science, right? Everybody sees the trend line and sells off of it. So, you know, I would want to see price not only break the trend line, but I want to see market structure broken too. And on these type of things, I like to see kind of the next nearest swing be broken because price could come back up here and spike through this trend line and then turn back. So, I mean, if you wanted to be more aggressive, you could say, okay, break of the trend line here and then, go long. But if this is a short time frame, if price is going to really turn and run a little bit more bull run, it's going to come up and take out, another this swing too, which to me would be a better zone. But a bullish turn and come back up here and a nice strong bullish close above this high would be okay too. Theoretically, that's a lower risk trade too. But this following along the trend line thing here is fine if it's in direction of the larger market trend. But the 4-hour chart is a little bit more bullish here with this higher low. But then again, we did come up and run into this resistance level again here and bounced off of it. But the bullish momentum, the bearish momentum hasn't been like super aggressive. It goes down, it pulls back, goes down, pulls back. It's not like straight down where it's just tanking back down again. So like what we had right here, these really aggressive pushes off the resistance zone. So we'll see what happens with soybean oil. Like I said, I had that little short I just took, but I'm out of that now, as you saw. All right, and then on rice, I took a short on rice on my personal account today, which I've now closed. And so we had this. I had that trade yesterday. I had a trade yesterday on soy and rice. It was a pretty good trade. I took an L today. It was a much smaller profit because you can see it just kind of stalled out. I was hoping we would continue down to make new lows. But as I said in a couple of previous videos, it does seem like price is struggling to go lower here. There's definitely a little floor down here. You can see these previous lows. And we're struggling to come down here a little lower. And remember, from a standpoint of seasonality, rice should be starting to turn up from a seasonal standpoint. So again, I don't know if this is just like a bottom forming right here, an accumulation. And that can go on for a long time. I mean, when the large traders start to accumulate positions to kind of like reverse direction, this is not uncommon, right? And this is a 4-hour chart. You can get sideways price action for like days and days and days, or even could even go to weeks, because they're just slowly buying positions without triggering like big runs here because they need to fill lots of orders. And so they'll push it down, then they'll buy up, and they're just trying to hide their positions. And so we'll have to see. So really, it would take a break of this, to me, of this high up here. If price can get above this high, then that would reverse direction for me. But right now we're in this kind of in-between zone. And I mean, it could just keep going lower too. I mean, we could come down and re-challenge these lows. It still looks pretty bearish on the 1-hour chart, but I'm not saying it's going to reverse from here. I mean, maybe we'll come down and test this zone again, but we do have seasonality that's pointing to more bullish prices. It hasn't played out yet. Again, would love to see the COT data to see where the commercials and large traders are at. Are they starting to build positions, which you should be able to see in the COT data, even if the price is not reflecting it yet. If we're starting to see longs, the large speculators begin to go long, and you see the hedgers, the commercial traders begin to, distribute, and start to shed off short positions, then that could be a sign. But we don't have that. So for now, I would say still kind of short-term bearish here, but not as clear now as we're kind of ranging inside of this whole area right in here. Right, you can clearly see a zone right in here, and to me, this looks like a potential accumulation zone. I mean, sometimes it's just the market taking a rest, and then the downtrend continues. But the longer this goes on like this, and we've already been kind of in this range essentially since the end of October, the longer this goes on, to me, the more that points to a developing shift in the market. It's just long. I mean, if you see a consolidation pattern that goes on for a couple of days, no big deal. That's just a little pause. But now we're talking about, over 2 weeks here that we've been just doing like absolutely nothing, on these longer time frames. So, let's see what happens with this, and if we get that seasonal shift. But for now, I'm just kind of neutral with it being literally right in between these two zones. Okay. So I'm probably just going to stand aside and let this play out. If we come down here and break these lows and, looks like prices want to go lower, great. Then, we'll look at that. If we zoom out here, if we go to like really high time frames, this is the weekly. I'm just zooming way out here. I mean, we're approaching kind of all-time lows down here. So not that it can't go lower. It could, if we kind of take the average of these lows, it's right about where my horizontal line is. So look, we could come down here and tag these lows again and then reverse. That's not out of the question. But I think just from a seasonal standpoint, we at least have to think about this being, an accumulation zone. But until either we break out of this zone one way or another, either definitively break through here with some strong bearish action, or take out these highs in here, and again with some strong bullish action, then I'm remaining more neutral on this at the moment, at least on these time frames. If we get this price to continue to roll down here, there could be more shorts, back down towards these lows. Not saying there aren't any short-term selling opportunities here, but to me, after what I see today, I'll be a little bit more hesitant with that. So, all right. So, yeah, that's about where we stand here for Friday, guys. So, again, some interesting moves in the grain markets literally in the last hour, half hour even. But nothing on the Canadian dollar, just kind of holding our breath on things like rice and hogs. And the Canadian, like I said, the CAD is not doing anything today. So, all right. So I'm going to leave it there. Guys, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Questions, comments, leave them down below. Hope everybody has a great weekend. If we get COT data at the end of the day today, I might make a video over the weekend if I get a chance to look at it. If not, I'll be back on Monday, and we'll take a little bit of a deeper dive into each one of these and just see where the reporting is. If we got all the back weeks, so if we're just going to like straight line right to the new data, and that's assuming we even get it right away, and because I don't know how long it's going to take him to catch up with all that. So, but should be coming, and that's the good thing, and we'll see where we stand. All right, guys, hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.